Lea, Aishikawa, Omega. Beep beep boop boop. Beep beep boop boop. Dum 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 dum. And hello, everyone. This is Wednesday Warzone, and this is the producer of Garrison, Archangel, Paolo. And it's been 2 weeks since we last had a Wednesday Warzone. I know you guys have been waiting for this, especially since we've had a lot of new updates in the past week. So, without further ado, let's start the Wednesday Warzone. Uh, Before this, actually, while we were waiting and for the stream to start, I was testing out a new map. By the way, yes, if you've been listening to our social media in the past weeks, every week we missed a Wednesday Warzone in the past month of September. We actually added new maps to the game. So the maps are actually variants of existing maps. So let me just adjust my volume. Hearing some weird stuff. Yeah, so hold on. Let me just check. Anyway, yeah, if you were listening to us last week, we actually added new maps to the game, and these maps are actually derivatives. Ooh, I actually showed off something there. They're derivatives of existing maps, and we added a new one, the Eternal Sky, and what do you call this? Just a 360 free map, no gravity, just free flights, and then there's an invisible like boundary, and we added the drift, which is basically the shaft but sideways. But many people responded positively to it, so we're glad about that. These new maps will also add more life to the game. In general, in missions mode, you'll be playing so much missions. We wanted to add like at least visually distinct maps from each other, even though they're the same kind of obstacle map. We at least wanted them to have like a different color, a different mood, different time of day, and yeah, so that's why we added them to the game. In addition, we're also modifying certain old favorites to have new surprises. That's what I'll say. I'll actually show one of the maps later. So this is one of those so-called old maps, new surprises. This is the shaft map, which we tried putting on the side because we wanted to try a sort of endless side runner, and it feels cool. It feels like something straight out of a feels like something straight out of a sci-fi show, honestly. So it's like we're racing down a tunnel and something's awaiting us at the end, but we must deal with each other. We must kill. Even though we are both trying to reach the end of the tunnel, we must kill. And yeah, it really feels cool, and I think many people have been trying out this map in the past week. We also, for these new maps, we actually adjusted how archangels interact and objects in general interact with surfaces. So as you can see, my camera was bent there because I was on a slope, and my archangel will actually also stand at an angle while I'm on the slope of this map. So it allows for really cool stuff, and we're gonna apply these changes also to, of course, to existing maps, and in general gameplay, so that it looks better. So that's just part of like sprucing up the game. Of course, there's other things we're doing behind all this. It's just that we released this because basically we wanted to test out some things, of course, with our player base, and before we release like bigger stuff we have planned. So this drift is a test concept, and right now it's really cool. It's a simple adjustment of an existing map, and let's just say there might be games in the future involving, there might be missions in the future involving this. So yeah, just stay tuned for that. We also actually released the Paragon Missions, which are like the final missions of the factions. Though those aren't final yet, but especially since they were released without these new maps around, and even with our other special missions, like the ones for the major factions, we might adjust those a bit as well, especially since we're adding a lot of new stuff to the game. So these new maps will serve to kind of expand what's existing in the game right now. So yeah, there was the shaft map. I got owned by an insane AI. So, but anyway, the insane AI isn't the insane AI is. I keep showing that. I hate it. Because we have a lot of maps now. The insane AI isn't actually like an accurate indicator of what the expected gameplay. At least even when we had our PvP local PvP tournaments, humans don't execute moves on the level of the insane AI, who have like frame perfect executions. Like as soon as they're able to input the command, they'll input the command like right after a dodge. But of course, the insane AI has its flaws. Like I pointed out before, it can't deal with long range effectively, especially if it doesn't have any tools for long range. And wait, let me check. Oh, then I was supposed to be in Eternal Sky. I don't know. It's like that. Okay, let's go. Eternal Sky was actually released last week. So as I was saying, back to the insane AI. They can't deal with long range, especially if they don't have weapons that are good for dealing with long range, like missiles and the like. They don't have those, they'll try to fly towards you. So while they do have their like crazy unfair moves, there's some way to deal with them. So we're actually adjusting that. Of course, as we change the game's mechanics, we also have to adjust the AI to adjust to those new mechanics. And actually, the second part of this Wednesday Warzone, after I show off all these new maps, is the oh wow, nowhere to run from all these missiles. Rude Boy. Oh, Rude Boy has been updated. Or is this a modified Rude Boy? Oh, I don't remember modifying the main Rude Boy. Oh. Okay. Okay, so as you can see in Eternal Sky, although it wasn't a good indication because we were like fighting, we were in each other's faces, but you can see there's a lot of free movement because the barriers here are kinda, they're not really, the barriers here are invisible and but it's quite spacious, and because Garrison Archangel offers you quite a lot of 360 movement, you might not even notice you're at the barrier until like the enemy presses you into it. So we just wanted to give the feeling of like being able to fly everywhere, and Eternal Sky gives that feeling. It's almost like we're just aircraft actually. Oh, I'm gonna lose this. He got me with that missile swarm. Oh yeah, so alright. Yeah, this Rude Boy is pretty rude. Alright. Okay, let's go for round 3, then I'll move to the next maps. Of course, these new maps, if you're playing preview, they've been added to the game. Actually, we haven't updated the public build in a while, so we just wanted to, for everyone who's waiting on the public updates, we just want to finish finish all the special missions first, and before we move it to update, before we move it to public, And then after that, that will probably be the last major public update for a while, because by then we did have finished the single player, especially by adding all the all the missions and the final missions and stuff. Of course, we'll have the different endings. We might actually have one more update to kind of round out the rewards and the endings, the actual like endings for helping the 4 factions. And yeah, so yeah, Garrison Archangel is close to completion. It's just that as it is, while we have like a kind of general idea of how things are going, we still want to, of course, give the game like a fair. We want to leave it for a while with our public testers, with our community for a while before we, fully release the game like as a complete package. So we're approaching that right now. These maps and these additional changes to the mechanics, and the new features we're adding, they're actually contributing to like the completion of the single player campaign. Did you see the post of Rude Boy there? That was weird. Anyway, I'm getting this guy is pretty rude. Okay. Yeah, I should learn to use the level 1s. Oof, he has more missiles than I do. Oh, damn. Oh well. Yeah, I better stop fighting Rude Boy here. he has the advantage. He's free to fire the missiles, and I have nowhere to hide. I don't even have a ground to hide on. So that's the Eternal Sky, and we actually showed it last weekend, and there were people already posting videos. One of them are devs, and people were saying it looked cool. So we'll try to get more stuff like this in the game then, if that's the case. We also have a version of the city, an abandoned version of the city. We also have different versions of the desert at dusk and then at night. So yeah, there's we just wanted like different, just so you'll have the same map with the same obstacles and the same general area, because Baja Secunda, the planet, is actually mostly desertified. It's actually mostly a desert because of the rapid desertification after something bad happened in the past. So you have all these cities that are now like post-apocalyptic deserts, since because of that mass change in the environment. I don't know how to. It's not exactly a climate. It's not exactly a climate change. It's more like the planet's. I had the term just now, then it's gone. But let's just say the planet changed for the worse, and then now the deserts are rapidly expanding, and that's actually also why the separatists are mad at the powers that be on Baja Secunda. So the desert ruins are actually supposed to represent like almost 50% of the planet, and with the city sector being like the inhabitable zones, and also representing like the space station where the HQ, the city surrounding the space station, and the oasis where the HQ of the what do you call this? The ghosts are located. And of course, you have certain places like the dam. They're very important areas, very important structures in the solar farm. And then the other like maps are like abstracted. They don't necessarily take place on Baja Secunda, but you can feasibly have like an endless underground shaft in Baja Secunda, or an endless shaft falling, especially since there's a lot of excavations going on in the planet, which, if you play the game and read the emails, actually shed a lot of light on the story of the game. even though we don't have like the narrative missions in yet. Those will come soon. The thing you keep seeing there at the bottom is actually related to, if you guys were paying attention, it's actually related to what's coming up next. But anyway, let's go. I'll show what kind of changes you can expect. This isn't final, by the way. It's very experimental. And also, yeah, let's see. I don't know. I was playing this earlier. Why do we keep finding insane? They cheat. And I have to cheese them to beat them. But anyway. So we're going to be exploring a new kind of map, a new kind of hazard map. So if you noticed, something flipped open and then missiles came flying out. So it's a new kind of hazard map. This isn't the final form, by the way, of the map. And right now the map is actually only hostile to player 1, the player. So we're exploring making hazard maps with actual turrets that, you know, try to kill you. Oh, Anubis has gone for a swim. Anubis. He never returned. I'll just destroy these things then, because they're gonna keep you. Oh, there you go. Hi, Mr. Anubis. Okay. Ooh, look at those crazy moves. I can do that too. Oh no. Ooh, I'm in the water. Look at those cool moves. I'll stay out of this sector. There's a lot of missile launchers over there. Oh yeah, another change we did in the past week is how perfect guards work on shields, and I think Anubis is showing it off right now. As you all know, shields have a timing where they shine white. If you've been playing the game for a while now, that white shine on the shield actually means that if an enemy hits you during that time period, you block it completely. You nullify the attack completely. It's called a perfect guard. Now the perfect guard was originally supposed to not only nullify the attack completely, but kind of stop the attackers in their tracks so that the shield user can counterattack. So one of the things we actually updated in the past week is we added a forced stun when you actually get hit by when you actually hit a perfect guarding opponent. So right now I don't think the enemy's perfect guarding me really well. Oh, that was a perfect guard right there. So, and another thing you noticed is another thing you must have noticed is my stability went down when I hit the perfect guard. That is another effect we're planning to add to perfect guard. We're actually combining it with another hidden function that wasn't working properly for the past year, which is the deflect function, which actually it used to work. It's just that it was so minuscule that people could just ignore it and just continue attacking. There are in your melee attacks, there are certain attacks that are so fast, like your neutrals, that when they hit the shield, they kind of rebound. If you hit the enemy's shield with these fast attacks, they rebound. They don't. You aren't allowed to continue chaining your attacks because they're fast. They're not powerful attacks. Certain weapons like the Dominus, all their directional attacks are considered power attacks. That's why they're able to keep whacking at shields. But at the same time, those attacks are so slow that the shield user should have enough time to kind of react and move out of the way, especially since using the shield allows you to boost and regenerate boost if you're not boosting and move around. So we decided to kind of power up the functions of the block. So we made at first we kind of enforced the stun that happens when you hit a perfect guard. But now we decided to make perfect guard strictly like a counter, like a counter hit to your stability. If you notice there, I attacked him, but my stability took a hit because I hit him during perfect guard, and because my attack was a light attack, a non-power attack, I was deflected at the same time. So yeah, just we'll try to update also the garage and the what do you call this, the directional attacks that we write down in the garage, because they right now melee weapons have a sort of indicator for how much damage they deal, stability and otherwise, and then the direction of the attack. So we plan to update the game to kind of indicate which of these attacks are power attacks and which aren't. And the reason we had the power attack light attack system is because there are some attacks in the game that are really, really fast and really, really strong, but at the same time, really, really fast and really, really strong. And because of the system of being able to chain whatever hits your opponent, we wanted a way for to kind of we wanted to give people with shields a way to kind of get their counterattacks in, rather than just sit on the other side of a barrage of hits. So with the perfect guard and the perfect guard system and the deflect system, you kind of have to think through which melee attacks you use, not just use the same kind of, like, let's say the favorite move is forward melee, not just kind of use the forward melee again and again. I understand we have weapons in the game that allow you to parry, but at the same time, parry is so limited to melee. Perfect guard also allows you to completely nullify range, although you don't have the benefits I described earlier, because of course range is done at the distance. You're not they won't lose stability for being deflected. So we just wanted to give perfect guard more of a a more obvious benefit for timing properly. We wanted to enforce existing deflect systems so that it's not just a lesser form of parry or whatever. And in general, we just wanted shields to not just be like damage soaking, because right now that's what they were. If you're playing public, they're really just for damage soaking and moving around. So shields now have a more active gameplay element to them, not just a kind of, okay, I keep this on because I just want to kind of weather whatever attacks are coming. So now shields can be used as a way to kind of reverse the situation if you time it properly, but it requires that you time it properly and you use it properly. So yeah, we also got inspired from this for this system. I actually just talked about it earlier. I'm just surprised the dev put it out here for me to test, and it's looking pretty cool. I'm not using a shield though. I actually want to try using a shield and go around guard mashing against enemies who are really good. This guy's really the hard AI is already doing cool stuff. It's not cheating as much as the insane AI, but it's doing some really cool stuff. I've had max. I'm not using this. I was so impressed with this movement. Anyway, as you notice, I'm staying away from that side because that side has the missile launchers I haven't destroyed yet. And I'm not using my flamethrower. Oh, nice. There. That was an example of a deflect perfect guard that stacked. So, there. So, one of the things we did is the Mugen Sakura's all four of their directions. One of the things we're planning to implement. All four of the Mugen Sakura directionals, they're all considered light attacks, but they're used to gather charge. Mugen Sakura will be one of the weapons that, where if you want to kind of just whack at the enemy shield, you want to use the neutrals. I know it's counterintuitive, but I realized it was part of our balancing. Neutrals in this game, while they're cool, you can swing them repeatedly. You hardly move forward at all, so it's actually kind of a risk. There's not a lot of cases you want to just swing neutrals. So at least if you swing neutral, the Mugen Sakura, if you swing your neutrals against a shielding opponent, you can kind of wear down their shield if they're just holding it or mistime their perfect guard. Oh, that was a perfect guarded range attack, but as you can see, nothing bad really happened to me. Other than, you know, I over boosted there, so let's finish this with style. Yeah. Okay. All right, so those are the changes we did, particularly for guarding. I should try that. The enemy was already doing some cool perfect guards right there earlier. If you power attack an enemy who perfect guarded you, you can actually continue swinging, but you take a hit to your stamina equal to the stamina they deflected. If you, for example, hit them with the dominoes, that thing deals like 800 stability damage. That thing deals like 800 stability damage. You can expect that to go back into your stability if the enemy perfect guards it. So yeah, just watch out about swinging blindly. Okay, let's try this. I actually, the shield is pretty slow, so I'm not really good at timing. So ooh. Ooh, this guy's careful. Oh man. Oh. Okay. Nice. Okay. Time to die. Oh, he perfect guarded. Okay. Yeah, so this is kind of nerf Dominus. Because the Dominus is so slow, you can probably perfect guard it for days. So yeah, so shields are a good answer for slow but powerful weapons. But slow and powerful weapons usually have the power state, which prevents them from, you know, being just stopped. So if an enemy was just guarding, I would probably just keep whacking them with the Dominus. Okay. Ooh, nice dodge. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. The Labrys also has some attacks that aren't power attacks. For the Dominus, the neutral attacks aren't power attacks. For the Labrys, the forward, I know, not the forward. I believe the neutrals aren't power attacks either. So if he decided to attack me with a neutral, I'd probably deflect it. Oh, see, I mistimed, so I was sent flying. There you go. Oh, that. Okay. Okay, I perfect guarded the projectiles. I perfect guarded his attack. Oh well, but I lost. But anyway, you can see it's pretty cool stuff. Makes shields more responsive to play. Okay. Also, a nice thing about the perfect guard, because if you just guard, shield has a durability that kind of gets removed. If you just hold it and move around, yeah, enemies can just whack it until it breaks. But if you're like, trying to achieve perfect guards, which means you're also risking yourself because you have to put down the shield and raise it up again to try and do a perfect guard. It's representative of kind of actively deflecting an attack. Like you're perfectly timing and moving your shield while the attack is coming like that. I just did that. That was cool. Enemy dodges. I knew it. Oh, I died. That was a perfect guard, so some attacks, some damage went through the shield. Also, shields have a deflection rating, which if you don't perfect guard, some percentage of the damage does go through the shield. So, yeah, a lot of it is gauging whether I should just guard normally, I shouldn't risk it, or if you think, I have the timing, I got it, I think I get it. Yeah, like that, if you feel you're cool. But in truth, I'm missing a lot of my perfect guards there. That was a good perfect guard. The tower shield bash is not considered a power attack. If you'll notice, this is one of the things we'll try to do. If an attack has like a special property, like it gives you iframes or invincibility, or if it gives you guard frames, it most likely won't be a power attack. So you can actually guard frame it right back. If you see someone trying to use a special attack on you, you can guard frame it right back and he'll lose. Those attacks are really supposed to be like counter attacks rather than, you just initiate and spam them. Ooh. Wow, this guy's careful. I better stop. Just die. No. My railgun didn't reach, but yeah, if you notice, the enemy has a shield, I have a shield, so we were both kind of like waiting for an opening. So I think it makes shield play more exciting rather than because shield play before wasn't too obvious. It was more of a you're just really minimizing damage. Now shields can really like reverse the fight. Like if an enemy got complacent and you were able to read the attack, you just perfect guarded his attack right back. You can kind of reverse the fight from there. As you can see, I was fighting an insane opponent using just the dominos and the shield, so I leave that up to you guys. For now, I think, this update will make Melee a little more interesting. I think, people are saying, no, we made Melee weaker because now Melee has to interact with how shields work, and now you'll need to have shields, I guess. But at the same time, now we can clearly see why you'd prefer like a shield to using the barrier, because the barrier doesn't have all these effects that kind of deflect the enemy, kind of throw their stability back at them if they screw up, if they change, if they got complacent with and just kept swinging at you. You can just kind of use the shield and throw their punish them basically, and their stability will suffer. This, I think, we might also have to modify how durability works. We might actually weaken durability because of all these new functionalities across the board. Because it'll be rare now. I have a feeling it'll be rare now for people to just kind of hold their shield up and just walk forward, unless you're using the power shield. And our shield's durabilities actually recover when you put them down. So a lot of people will be putting down a shield and putting them up and trying to match the enemy movements. So I have a feeling that those durabilities might have to change as well to kind of balance with it. And of course, although a lot of this is from the shields, the deflect property actually passes on to weapons with guard frames as well. So you can actually use the guard frames like Dominus back, Beam Saber back. The Gorgon has a lot of guard frames. You can use that to kind of stop enemy melee attacks. And of course, their original function, which is they completely deflect attacks, but they lock you into the animation, which shields don't. So there's basically a lot more for you guys to parse. And I know people have been looking at the codex for guidance, and it's outdated with all the mechanics we've updated, changed, and kind of refined. So we'll also be updating the codex soon. The animations in the codex are also kind of outdated. They're using the old UI, which I understand our demo is still using, since the demo was released like what, earlier this year, last year. I don't even remember anymore when we last updated the demo. Let me check on the page. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff that'll be updated, a lot of stuff in the game, because there's a lot of stuff we also kind of move forward with like, for example, single player campaign is such a major step forward. Upgrades and stuff. I understand there were people who were confused, especially since you go into missions mode blind. I understand that. And if you don't know anything about the game, you weren't following it, you wouldn't know which factions to kind of help out. We also intend to kind of alleviate that by making a codex dedicated to the factions and stuff. And maybe in the garage too, we can indicate which factions produced which weapons, so that you guys can also check that out. So yeah, there's that. There's still a lot to do. For now, we're focusing on finishing the campaign. This new stuff is in pursuit of that, actually. So let's answer some questions people are asking. So, get a neutral with more reach. I think Dominus neutral is already pretty far. So let me just change my... This is an experimental build. I wanted to do Mugen Zakura with Flamer. It's pretty cool, but at the same time it's hard because enemies have way more options at shutting me down than I do. So, we already... I don't know why I said that. We already indicate which manufacturers made which weapons. So we might... so that old request of arranging parts in the garage comes back to us. So we might actually give you options to arrange by manufacturer in the future, especially for shop. So that's one of the things we're gonna try and get in the game as well. Okay, so Mountain Splitter Dominus. Okay, so I have this extra thick Dominus. Extra thick. I don't really need this. Time for the old classic build. Classic. Molnia time. Alright, I like this new one. I like this SMG. I like it. It's cute. Okay. The reason I'm doing this is to show that the neutral of the Dominus is actually, compared to other neutrals of its type, it's actually pretty far if you move forward quite a bit. So the enemy's 25 meters. Yeah, I didn't hit him. Let's say 19. Still didn't hit him. 12. Yeah. So let's try it again. 15. Okay, so the thing is actually like 12. Yeah, the hitbox of the Dominus neutral is pretty small because it's the hilt, it's not the blade. So that's why people are saying, you might be saying it needs more reach. But at the same time, you are able to chain this without needing to hit them. And all the other Dominus attacks are slow. And that's on purpose because the Dominus... all the Dominus attacks are considered power attacks, so if the enemy is just holding their guard, you can just keep whacking them until they wise up or until their guard breaks, which in both cases should be a win for you unless the enemy wises up and deals with your Dominus. So this one gives you guard frames, this one gives you hyper armor and moves you forward a great deal. So, and then this one also moves you a lot, and then there's a wide kill area. It's one of my favorite moves. I like doing it, but that's my weakness. It's slow, so people see it coming. So you shouldn't really be expecting a fast attack from the Dominus other than this. This also has its own uses, by the way, because it has really high stability damage, so it can flinch a lighter mech or an enemy you've hit once, and then they just kind of kept going around, and rather than just take the hit, they kind of kept canceling, so you catch them and then you hit them. So yeah, This mech isn't really a good indicator as well, since if I remember correctly, the MDM of this mech is below average, so it's actually dealing less damage than it should normally. See, it's 90%. So yeah, because I built this to be a speed build, you can see my mobility is naturally high. So I have more dodge, but I deal less melee damage than anyone else. Like a strength build. Strength build will deal a lot more damage in this, like the build I was using earlier with the shield. So yeah, for now I don't want to move the Dominus because it's a strong weapon and lots of people love it, especially in single player. So while your what do you call this? Your suggestion is noted. It used to be even shorter before. We added lots of forward movement to it actually. So in fact, you can do like a bamboozle, which is, see, I was able to do 3 attacks without hitting the enemy, without spending cancel. So 1, 2, 1, 2, no. I have to do it on the second, sorry. 1, 2, nope. I was holding forward, okay, so it's 1, and then I have to fold forward. So neutrals also have that effect of like kind of fooling the enemy into thinking you whiff, then suddenly you do that kind of thing. Like they'll think, oh, he missed, he's gonna cancel now. And then suddenly he goes and does that. And I didn't spend any boost doing that, so it's really more for against the AI. I guess you won't notice, you won't see any use for that, but against humans who read your movements, it's a really good way to kind of mess with their timing. So yeah, people are talking about GG stab. So am I late? I'm only insane AI frame abuse. Yeah, that rude boy isn't a normal rude boy. That was a player built rude boy. Will there be a time that those turrets can fire anything at anyone? Those aren't the final turrets. Those missile containers are supposed to fire really large missiles, and they're not supposed to be fired at their own ship. Not player 1, use special, it's good. No, it's mini parry. How many of those stability damage be inflicted when someone does a perfect guard on melee? It'll deal stability damage till the enemy flinches, and if the enemy flinches, they stop doing whatever they're doing. So one of the things we were hoping with this new system is a guy will perfect guard your string until you flinch, then they suddenly launch a counterattack. That's the theory. We might also modify the actual time from deflect. Right now, I think deflect takes a while, but that's because of the slow-mo. We might just modify deflect to kind of reset force you to stop, force you to go back to neutral for that attack. Perfect guard can stop level 4 Mugen. No, level 4 Mugen is special. It's not a melee attack. Can already. Perfect guard will prevent you from getting damaged by level 4 Mugen, but it won't throw the stability back at the guy. So perfect a long time. Yeah, shields also restore boost. So that was the old use for them. It was kind of I just want to kind of back off. Now there's a more like, if you play actively, you cannot just weather through the attacks. You can kind of force an opening. So it also makes it look more. It makes you, when you're seeing someone playing with a shield, you kind of understand what they're trying to do, compared to old shield where it's not, to a third person, it's not inherently obvious. Someone has to explain that shielding is good because you can restore boost, you can move around while shielding. Shielding also absorbs most of the damage. You can also restore your stability while shielding. There's a lot of things you have to explain to an outsider. But now, on top of that, the outsiders can see, oh, he deflected that attack really well, so now he gets to attack back. Yeah, recovering boost. Yeah, no, that it wasn't there. Or you can just shoot. Sorting max, like I said, unless you have like 100 max, we don't really, even locally, we don't really like sort max. We'll try to get it into the game, but right now it's not a high priority. If ever, it will be the manufacturer parts because in missions mode, you work for the manufacturers and you want to know which new parts you got compared to your mechs because more or less you'll be using the same mech in missions mode. Because a mission, because the missions mode is procedurally generated, you usually want to just use your best build or whatever. Um, but we'll see about sorting mechs when we get the sort by manufacturer parts. So we'll see. Right now, if you guys aren't aware, we actually also implemented a change in the garage. I'm not sure if I discussed this in previous Wednesday Warzones. You can actually just put in save files in your Garrison Archangel folder, and it'll read it in the game automatically. Ooh, wow, this guy hurts. I was caught at the wall. I shouldn't be at the wall. That was bad. Ooh, that was bad. So yeah, shields won't really do anything to range, but at the same time, we've made it so that range has a lot of weaknesses. So we might be changing up some range weapons soon. There are some range weapons that don't have an inherent weakness other than other than an obvious weakness. If they operate within their space, they're really strong. We might actually be looking at range weapons and balancing those two. Oof. Wow, this guy has a lot of shield. Yeah, so playing speed types in the game feels fun, but you you kind of have to maintain it, and you have low health. It's fun because you kind of just run circles around people, but at the same time, if they do hit you, it hurts. And yeah, this guy's pretty good. I'm surprised. This is a fashion fight creation, by the way. So I'm surprised it's really functional as an AI. Oh, nice tackle. Ooh, yeah. I really underestimate the Naracruces as a ranged weapon. The projectiles are really fast. So yeah, I'm not sure why I played Wadi. I just saw her. I wanted to see. Anyway, yeah. The new shield functions, the new maps. You can look forward to them in preview. We actually released the new maps in preview early on. We have an older version of the Perfect Guard on there. Perfect Guard and Deflect on our current version of preview. They both cost that mini stun. So what I've done in this current build, what we've done in this current build I'm showing as a demonstration is we've separated Deflect from the effect of Perfect Guard, which is actually to kind of reflect stability damage back to the enemy who hit the Perfect Guard. So that's the actual effect of Perfect Guard from now on. It's really separate from the Deflect with the Deflect and power attacks. So we'll update the system of the game to also indicate power attacks soon. We also revisited certain melee attacks, made some of them power attacks, some of them not power attacks. So you'll have to judge which of the attacks you'll use at the current situation. Like if you keep spamming the iframe attack of the E-tac, it might not work on an enemy with a shield. It might work against you because, like I said, for certain attacks with properties, we don't give them the power attack tag. But they'll be useful against enemies who, they just swing quickly. So you can just iframe through some of their swings, hit back, iframe again, hit back, iframe again, hit back. So we don't take away that option, but we force people to kind of think through, is that really what you want to do? Because the enemy can do things to you for doing that. So and also it makes shield fighting look more dynamic and fun. That's it. Yeah, I think that's all of it. Let's read the next 100 plus mech. Need a lot of sort. I mean, you can just put folders in your Garrison Archangel folder and then put them in out. No, I'm kidding. I shouldn't say that. I'm a dev. But anyway, we'll see about adding the sort. But currently, if you just want to sort your mechs, you can put them in folders and then put them in the main folder if you feel like playing with them. If you don't feel like playing with them, just put them in another folder. Because I doubt people will actively check on all their 100 mechs. I mean, well, that's just me, but if enough players have 100 plus mechs, I mean, that shows. Okay, I respect you guys. Yeah. So we'll try to see if we can get sort in the game. Ranged is underpowered on purpose. We want most of the game to be melee. When we made this game, by design, it was supposed to be a melee game. Ranged is underpowered because with respect to what melee can do. We did that by design. But I don't know about that. I'm not sure how accurate and how true we've stayed to our initial design about ranged being underpowered on purpose, so that you'd want to play melee more, because there are lots of weapons in the game and builds that make use of range that are really powerful. And it leads to one of our running jokes, which we sarcastically say that GA is a melee-oriented game, but here are people running dual shotguns, or our first champion won with dual rifles. So I think that was an indication of how range, despite its flaws, is still a really powerful tool. Still need a lot of sort. Try shield with range build, but still it depends on your build and how you use your weapons. Range, like I said, we made ranged underpowered on purpose. Made it hard to use so that melee is strong. Melee has a lot of properties that range doesn't have. Yet still, ranged builds are still powerful. Like if you build for ranged, you can have a really powerful build. Like I showed earlier with my speed build, I'm able to deal a lot of damage and avoid getting hit. And a lot of melee weapons also double as ranged weapons. So I can't really say that even with our design of making ranged, giving ranged a lot of drawbacks to give melee a chance to shine is still true, because there are lots of weapons in the game that are ranged that are really strong, like the Vajra and at one point the homing lasers and the Schaefer. There are builds you can build around with those weapons in mind that are really effective even in PvP. I have a feeling because Vajra came out before our last PvP tournament, and like I said, the first champion of our local PvP games, like when we play with people, like actual people who play the game, like fighting game tournament guys. The first champion of GA is in the game, Blitz Airmaster, was a pure ranged build using dual rifles. So, like I said, we tried to make range, we tried to gimp range so that melee is Melee is what people will be drawn towards, but still there are lots of builds for ranged in which they are really powerful. One of the builds in the game, Archaeopteryx, uses dual pistols, which is one of the weakest ranged weapons in the game, and it's only 500 weight. It's like having a ranged version of the beam saber, and it's still a viable build. It uses the swarm missiles to deal most of the damage, and like swarm missiles, another ranged weapon. And ironically, there are no builds that I know of currently that are actual like PvP winning builds that are pure melee, because you have to cover all your bases. Realistically, if an enemy can fire missiles at you while you're far away and you can't fire back, that's already considered a win for that other guy. Let me just check among our... Look at all these mech slot 49. Anyway, we were testing, just adding new copies. So a lot of these, just for the new guys, a lot of these people we added to the game were actually champions of local tournaments. So, and some of them are just, you know, we added them. We designed them, then added them. Blitz Airmaster is the first champion. Let me check. Typhoon Oasis is a pure ranged build, and it's really hard to fight. Ah, there we go. Yeah, Hikari Light Sunsparkle and yeah, Kuriyami Moonshadow. How could I forget my two favorite characters? Yeah, they've never really reached like a championship status, but yeah, they're probably the only melee only builds. Oh, Leoplerodon. But this is not the build he used to win his tournament. He modified that after we changed some stuff around. So yeah, like I said, I mean, ranged feels underpowered and hard to use, but it's still a powerful thing. And I'm not sure about being forced to a specific playstyle. We leave it up to you guys to kind of figure out what your playstyle is. Like earlier, I just showed off that I'm not that good at certain things, but there are people who run like stability monsters and are fine with it. Like they just rely on the forward melee of certain weapons to move forward, and they can run fine on that. So, and there are people who can handle like having low boost, or well, they're the same. And there are people who can handle like having low armor. I'm not one of those people. I'd like a lot of armor, and yeah, so I'm not sure about being forced to a specific playstyle. A lot of the playstyles with a lot of comma, with quotation marks, the playstyles people discuss are just what they think are the forced playstyles. In truth, I can't say there is a specific playstyle. The builds more or less are still different. Well, except for the later ones, because they're all strength. They're all like heavy guys with lots of weapons. I mean, look, we'll have Archaeopteryx. Once in a while, there's a speed guy, and then the later guys are just carrying heavy weapons and generally heavy. Except for Himashikurara, I think Himashikurara won. Spooktober, yes, Spooktober Skirmish. Am I correct? Yeah, Himashikurara won Spooktober Skirmish with a speed power kind of build. And if you fight this guy in missions mode, he's really painful to fight against. Like your health will just melt away. But a human player would probably have a hard time playing this because armor and speed are kind of low. You won't have a lot of dodges, but the AI gets to play this really well. I don't know how. So yeah, just my suggestion: just play with the different parts and see what you like. And yeah, just try it out in the garage. There's really a lot of play styles. I can't say there's one like dominant. Well, right now there's one dominant that you're forced to run it all the time. Right now, it seems to be stability, but because of the shields, I think that might change because most of the stability monsters rely on the dominus, on the dominus and charged weapons. So if you have a shield, you can probably knock them out, and then next time bring a weapon that has different speeds of attack so that I can see your attacks coming, so that I don't see your attacks coming from a mile away. So there. That's also why we added the new guard frames and changes. Pure Melee, Sun Sparkle. Like I said earlier, Pure Melee is Sun Sparkle and Kuriyami. And then there was one tournament. Someone else, not Kuriyami's original user, challenged me to a Dominus fight and actually beat Mr. Surprise with it. And I was really like, wow, mind blown to think this is just like a Falcon with charged thrusters and a Dominus, and he was able to knock me down. So yeah, like I said, it's all down to how well you practice, how well you know the concepts, how well you built your mech. If you want to cheese it, if you want to build around a scummy build, I guess, then good for you. You figured out how to do that. It's not something we can decide for everyone. Anyway, so I think that's it for Wednesday Warzone. Yeah, AI bug. What is Sim saying? AI bug. AI bug. What does that mean? Anyway, let me check our Discord. Let me check our Discord and things. And see if there are people asking questions. Yeah, okay, there are questions. Oh. Only question I have is if the team plans to do any kind of GA Halloween thing since I can't run. Last year we had a community run Halloween contest. It was pretty cool. It was an AI contest. Sad to say, we might not have a Halloween event similar to what we had last year, but we might have something for you guys. So just stay tuned for that. 9:30, so we'll be stuck in a meeting. Crap. Balance stuff like medium shield, homing laser, etc., which are being looked at. One of the balance things we're looking at for homing, for medium shield, on top of the new guard changes, would be the fact that its bash is considered a power attack, so you can actually use the shield bash to break other shields. So that's one thing. It's very minor, a very specific interaction, but I think it'll add to like the viability. Because if you're fighting a guy with a shield, you'll be careful about using your faster moves, or your moves that have a lot of your moves that have properties like defensive properties. You'll think twice about using melee moves that do that, because they'll probably just perfect guard it or just deflect it. So if you have the medium shield, you're pretty sure you can just whack the guy more or less, unless he perfect guards you. Gotten a lot of new large remix stages lately. Can we expect any new music or new arena PvP stages before early access is over, or any new set piece maps like Solar or Dam? We might make derived arena maps for those. I did see we did notice that the list of maps for arenas, we have a lot more like hazard maps and obstacle maps compared to arenas. So we might add new arenas in the future. So there's actually new music in the game. It's just that we haven't put it. It's for specific missions. That's all I can say about that. I'm sorry. Next lab last week. Quick rundown if it's over. In any case, thanks for streaming. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the usual questions. Short end of it is, yeah, we'll be adding a lot arena maps. arena maps and music. We'll try to add more, but they'll mostly be derived from existing maps. This is the same person, I think, who requested that we cut up the solar and dam maps so that you can have arena fights in specific areas. We'll explore that. The thing about arenas is we try to make them look enclosed so that they look like they're for tournaments. So we'll see about doing that for solar map and the solar farm map and the dam map, which were designed with a different kind of idea that this is an actual installation. This is part of a bigger world. It's not an enclosed kind of thing. So we'll see about that. I know that we have the virtual map, which kind of breaks that. Just looks like a computer simulation. So it's open, but there's this barrier thing. So there's that. Also another is actually, if I think about it, Eternal Sky shouldn't be considered a hazard map since there's no obstacles of any sort. It's just unnatural because it's an orb. So we might rename Eternal Sky into an arena map, or make a smaller version of it, a smaller boundary version of Eternal Sky. So that could be one of our new arena maps, because it operates like an arena map. It's actually enclosed, but it gives you that feeling of freedom. But like I said, the actual barrier is invisible. So there's actually an edge to the map. But anyway, I think I've answered that question. Let's see if there are new questions from YouTube. And I'll probably end at the 10:30. There's a lot more broken ridge combo, I swear. The flamethrower was nerfed because it was really strong. But it still the Schaefer still feels strong, but it used to be much stronger. That's all we're saying. You actually also have options with the Vajra. The swarm missiles are actually really strong, but you have to hit with them. That's it. If you hit with them, just hit them with them once or twice, you'll probably already determine the match right then and there. They're actually that kind of weapon. I just hope that Eternal Sky won't be abused with cheese. Well, you are free to fly wherever you go. You have a lot of space if you don't have a lot of boost. But, I mean, that space won't help you. If you decided to run a heavy mech in Eternal Sky, I'm not sure what to tell you. So it's built for those kinds of plays where people want to feel like free, not that they're not limited by they don't want to have visual constraints on their movement. So it's for those specific people. We'll see about making an arena-sized version. But the idea of it behind Eternal Sky is you want people to feel like they're flying in a sky, like there's a lot of space. That's the entire design idea of it. So if people cheese, I'm sorry, that's what it's conducive to. You have a lot of freedom, a lot of movement, nothing blocking anyone's way. That's just how the map is. I'm sorry. Now change color mech time. Use Eternal Sky with the same color of mech as usual with the scummy builds. But anyway, I don't know if that'll work because the lock-on indicator will still be that bright white, red, or whatever, yellow. I'm not sure about the random generated forest maps. It might not look clean. We'll see about it though. First AI that use bugs. Kumi and Cacao. Jajanka will break shields. Jajanka will break shields. Jajanka. Who's Jajanka? I'm not sure. A lot of these equipment are, you can see them coming. They're not exactly things I would. If I had a shield, I'm not sure. I'll have to use a small shield. But yeah, the Dragoon might mess things up. That is true. The shotguns in general are hard to deal with because they have no tell. You can just pop them off and then that's it. You were hit. It's either you were hit or you dodged out of sheer luck. Mr. Soups. Oh, this is my... Yeah, no, sorry. Wait. None of you have a small shield. Let me try using 39S. Yeah, this 39S is another champion build, and as usual, he was using the Dominus, and he's using a power build, a strength build. Oh, let's try. I'm not really good at parrying, but I'm hoping the new changes will help me with this. This is gonna be hard. And something's happening. Yeah, something is happening. Okay, let's wait for it. Oh, it's 10:43. I should end this. It's been more than an hour. So I actually just want to say, I'm just curious. I know Jajanka can punish me. If I mistime my perfect guards, he'll probably wreck me so hard because he can deal a lot of damage. But at the same time, all those attacks are slow. I should be able to react to them if I play patiently. No. Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong? Mr. Archangel. Oof. What's up? What's this? Okay, that's weird. Okay, guys, sorry. Something came up. I'll have to report this later. Oh no, it's not just Archangel. Alright. It's not just Archangel. Let's see what's happening. Can you guys still hear me? Hello, hello. Hello? Can you guys still hear me? Okay, so I think I should end Wednesday Warzone right now. So I'll just end it here with the Arc Nemesis or Scene 5. Yeah, I mean it's been more than an hour. I guess I'll test the Jajanka thing someone pointed out. I'll test the Jajanka theory on my own. Yeah, thank you for watching Wednesday Warzone. Actually, I encountered some kind of weird technical issue. I encountered some kind of weird technical issue. I'm not sure if it's the game or the PC. Oh no, yeah, I think Oh, it's actually working. It's actually working. Let's see. Let's see if it works. Okay, that's strange. I didn't alt tab, by the way. It was just, oh no, I see now. I see. Okay, I see. Okay. It doesn't like it if I'm not player two, but I made a player. I tried to play as player two. Okay, I'll note that bug. Anyway, that being said, I think we should really end Wednesday Warzone anyway. Even though I identified the bug, maybe it doesn't like player being player two, especially if there are no other like controllers or whatnot. So we've identified that. We'll look into it. So I think this is the end of Wednesday Warzone. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you Vol and Sim for being active in the chat. Thanks to the 5 people watching. Thank you for Maple for asking the usual questions in Discord. I hope you guys look forward to our next episode or our next update, which will have the new shield changes and the new maps, including the carrier with the missile launchers. We might actually change the missile launchers you saw on carrier right now to we might shift them to the actual turrets that were built into the carrier, and we might transform those into actual turrets, and we'll have them form a fifth faction so that you can use them for your one-on-one or free-for-all games or in your duel games, and they'll shift between like targets. We'll try to get that in the game so that it's a true hazard, not just like it'll only target the player kind of hazard. It'll only target player one kind of hazard. That was just for like demonstration. So yeah, there's gonna be more stuff in the future. I hope you guys stick with us till then. And yeah, thank you very much for supporting the game. As usual, I'd like to thank the community and everyone who's watched, everyone who supported us. And yeah, please tell your friends and family about Garrison Archangel. Even though it's in early access, we have a lot of features and a lot of customization. I mean, we're in early access, but people are already asking for like sorting for 100 plus max. So that should tell you a lot. There's a lot of stuff in the game. There's a lot of replayability in the game just from building and creating your mechs and coloring them and fighting other people, gathering more parts by playing the campaign, fighting the AI. If you want, you can play online, though we're still working on the net code. We do have people who like to play online. You just gotta catch them and schedule games on Discord. Though the game's in early access, there's a lot to come for it. There's a lot already. There's a lot of what do you call this? A lot of content already, and there's still more to come. So please do continue supporting us. Once again, this has been Paolo representing the Garrison Archangel team. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching Wednesday Warzone, and thank you for looking forward to it. And thank you for your suggestions about various things in the game, feedback. We actually rely a lot on you players as well for a lot of the changes we do and a lot of the direction of the game. Actually, a lot of it was from player feedback. So thanks a lot. And with that, that's the end of Wednesday Warzone. And this was Paolo signing off. Sara, bye-bye.